Hi there. I'm Wendy Stone, your host and reader for Storytime. Tonight we'll be continuing Dog Upon Atlas into Chapter 11. And it's really good to see you. You scented this? I asked the homeless dog. She sniffed once, jerked and nodded. Thank dog, no. Agreed, I said. I gave her 2 dumplings from the baggie of food I'd nabbed from Sophia's table. It felt good to have a bit of control. I continued down the block, Sophia, Beefcake, and Mittens a block ahead of me. I'd been tailing them into Midtown on the off chance that she was right, that my gang was after her. But why the one detail? Beefcake followed them 10 feet in arrears. He was big, but there was no way he was taking down a small army, especially if they surprised him. Sophia stopped at a fruit and veggie bodega. I spotted another homeless dog across the street and headed toward her, placing Tessa's shirt still inside the plastic baggie in front of her. You scented this? Homeless dogs were the source of some of my best leads. Gah, she gagged. These street dogs had better senses than most. Rank, I know. No, I haven't, she said slowly, and I've scented a lot of crap in this town. Thanks. I gave her 2 dumplings and a packet of bison jerky. She looked like she needed it. Sophia and crew moved up 2 blocks. I stayed in the shadows, looking and smelling, for both a sign of her additional detail or of the dirty mongrels. But she was right. Someone was watching. I could feel it. My fur ruffled like a soft wind was bothering it. The 3 stopped at a clothing store. I stopped at the next street dog. You scented this? He jerked. What you got there, dog? To be totally honest, I'm not sure. He studied me for a second. He was middle-aged, wore an old raggedy paunch, and smelled of the streets of Manhattan with a curious bass tone, like he'd once led a life of refinement. He reminded me of someone. One of the posters I'd seen on Jomi's wall that morning. Barter Smooth Trot. A dog in the mid-20th century who'd led an open rebellion against the ice flats as they began seizing all land, air, and sea shipments, claiming that they were searching for weapons, as any type was outlawed. He disappeared a few months into his campaign, if I recalled. You're looking for the DM, aren't you? The dog asked me. His eyes drifted down the sidewalk where Sophia, Beefcake, and Mittens continued their trek. There's talk on the streets, he said, that the mongrels are declaring war. You think they're dumb enough to try and nab Sophia Bricktail? I don't know, I laughed. Wouldn't that be a boon, though? Nabbing all the next clan leaders? It sure would, he said. Never scented that before, not in the 5 boroughs. I gave him what I had left. Take care, huh? And if you even get a drift of this scent, run. Another few blocks, and the 3 stopped in a park where Sophia changed into a bedazzled dress with matching booties, her human Mittens getting the same treatment. I took out the I Heart NYC button from my paunch and pinned it on, grabbed a brochure discarded on the sidewalk, and took up a closer stance on the bench half a block from the park's entrance. Through the line of high-branched maples, to my utter horror, I could see them. A low stage, a few lights, some cushions arranged around all of it. It was an outdoor fashion show, with Sophia and a gaggle of other ladies parading with their humans in matching outfits. Lots of oohing and eyeing. Beefcake sat quietly in a corner, trying not to watch. I felt sorry for him, then thought about his whiz on the front door to my office. My eyes swept the horizon above the line of the brochure in all directions. 2 dogs across the street, wearing navy blue business paunches, chatted. An older couple studied the mosaics of a building, probably tourists. A young dog on my side of the block. Hair missing in great big patches, begged for food. So many homeless. Too many. But no sulfuric sweet potato pie smelling females. No Roxy, no Tessa. After an excruciating hour, Sophia moved again, down another 2 blocks and east on 50th, straight into Hell's Kitchen. The stops were frequent and short. The Bricktails owned a good deal of the real estate, as the businesses in the area were largely medical suppliers, with a smattering of shipping warehouses. My ears pricked as we traveled deeper. She was headed toward my daughter's clinic. Oh, no, you don't. I picked up pace to head them off. It wasn't unknown that clan members would use other family members against you. I'd heard about it, denied it. Now I could see it happening. I hadn't taken her case, and she was going after my Africa. I'll rip you limb from loose-jawed limb, you frickin' brick-tailed queen-to-be. I'll tear your damn throat out through your stomach. Oh! I slowed and made myself flush inside a doorwell as I realized they were passing Affy's clinic. I'd gotten a little ahead of myself. Truthfully, I'd half been hoping Sophia would go right to a secret meeting with the detective, thank them for their service and provide further instructions. Like she was going to scream, "Plant the evidence now!" while I listened at the corner. Stupid. I risked a peek. The three continued up 47th and around the next corner. I walked to the next corner, calmly, but got bowled over by a group of dogs, so far that I landed down a ramp well into someone's front door. Nearly broke my back. "Oops," one of the dogs said. "Sorry about that. Looks like you better watch where you're going." Thanks, pal. I don't think it's me that should be watching," I said. The dog wasn't alone. 3 males and 1 female stood behind him, all eyeballing yours truly with a decidedly unpleasant gaze. What's up, fellas? And, lady-ish? My dance card is full. Sorry." "Shut up!" All 5 of them growled and showed teeth. "What are you doing following Sophia Bricktail?" "Wait a minute," I said. The 5 dogs had been at the cafe 3 tables over. "All right, look. You got the wrong idea here. I have a business arrangement with Miss Bricktail." "Yeah, sure you do," from the somewhat lady. She smelled like a flower dipped in alcohol. "We put up with your stink because Sophia didn't kick you out," from the leader. "But you insult my uncle? You skulk around corners, following the next leader of a 7 clan? You insult us?" His uncle. One of the mooks at the table next to us. They were stub snouts, the lot of them. I said, "We ain't started that part of the dance yet, kids. But what the hell? Let's see. Your brow, whoa, I could land a plane between those eyes, know what I'm saying?" "Shut your dirty mongrel mouth, old dog," from another. "You don't speak to the Stubbs that way." "The Stubbs?" I laughed. "What, you guys in a pygmy bluegrass band? And I ain't old, you frickin' mooks." "Titus," from the female, "let's teach him a lesson. Tear him a new crap hole." "How about we fix your mouth, old dog, that smart-ass old mongrel mouth." Now wait just a sec. I went to my hinds, my temper bubbling, the repetition of the M-word filling an unseen internal cup. First of all, use fiber putting a real cramp in my not-so-perfect anger management score today. Second of all, this smart-ass mouth pays for that dump you call a house up in Founders Corners, little puppy. And if you call me that word one more time. The female stepped forward. "Look at you. You didn't even come up to my ass." "So I'm a little small. That ain't a crime. I got stuff. I got something." "You got dirty mongrel blood. That's what you got. And you're not going to forget this lesson. And that mongrel mouth will be too shredded to tell this tale." "Very poetic," I said. "Do your worst, young buck." My temper chilled as something drifted by my muzzle. Something familiar and distinct. Jomi and Tessa's scent. There, beyond the ego-headed youngsters, was a dog spying on us from behind the trunk of an ash tree across the street. Too far away to get details, but too big to be Tessa. The picture Dean Blackbrushed had given me put Tessa more at my size. I took a deeper whiff, praying that the winds would favor me. The stub snouts kept yakking. I filtered them out. Roasted chestnuts, urine, burnt beef, dryer sheets, the smells of the city. Somebody shoved me. I stuck my flaring nostrils as high as they would go, strained with everything I had to sort out the thousands of scents I didn't care about. I felt teeth take a first shot at my left shoulder. There, bergamot and magnolia, Roxy. Plus a strain of sulfur and 6 points. My dirty mongrel leader. Why, you ballsy frickin' bone stealer, I thought, you following Sophia or me? I didn't think. I dove between the forest of legs, up the ramp and toward her. I was rewarded for my impeccable schnoz by her springing away from the ash tree as she saw me coming. She had been tailing me. I pounded the sidewalk, then spared a glance over my shoulder as I made the end of the block. The stub snouts were in pursuit. I laid out the plot in my mind. The fruit stand middle of the next block, the sedative patch in my breast pocket. I made the intersection, past the fruit bodega, then kicked the legs out of the last stand. Oranges spilled onto the sidewalk, along with a few shoppers. And as they came, the gang of stub snouts spilled too. I took half a second to tear open the packet, stick the edge of the patch between my front teeth, then I hauled tail. Almost a full block ahead of me, her furry butt pounded out a gallop straight down 10th. But something was wrong. You ain't giving it enough gas, Roxy. You don't smell tired. And now that I looked, her gallop seemed more like an urgent trot, like she wanted me to catch her. 3 more blocks and she turned left. I zigzagged through the traffic to cut down on time. A long city block and she turned right, straight down 9th. Another block, another left turn. I rounded the corner and got pummeled by a ton of bricks. My gang leader, my Roxy. We rolled into the middle of 42nd. The squelching of tires and screams of dogs filled my ears. I got to my feet. Hello. She was a lot bigger than I remembered. A big gray and orange speckled gal with a long, wide face. I committed to memory. Did you kill Jomi? You the leader of this gang? Come on, answer me, Roxy. Her bare, toothy smile said yes. Her ears flattened. She was coming at me again. I dropped the sedative patch. Where was it? Like an idiot, I floundered, my eyes scanning the pavement. There it is. Wait, that don't look right. The thought was ripped from my head as she bashed me with 6-inch wide paws. But lucky me, she'd pummeled in the right direction. I had the patch. As I rolled onto my back, the gleam of pretty white teeth filled my vision. I bet you and Jomi taste the same, she said, like cowards. This is gonna hurt, I thought. While she crunched into my left shoulder, I slapped the patch on her chest, then kicked her in an unchivalrous fashion, and in the most unpleasant place to kick a girl. After her comment, it felt awesome. Bright blinking lights, a scream, a whimper. Was it my scream? My whimper? From my horizontal vantage point, my eyes found her feet shuffling like she wasn't sure whether to kick me or run. I got to my feet. Roxy was pulling at that patch on her chest. Ha! I said. You're gonna feel talkative now. We both looked up as a black van peeled up 42nd. She smiled. Backup was arriving. I knew 2 things. 1, I'd had trouble finding them in the first place. 2, this was as close as I'd gotten. I needed to find my missing dogs, and I needed to find Tessa. There was only one way to do that. Let Roxy maul and haul. Was I ashamed? Was it possible payday for Fullwither? Or was it honoring Jomi's last wish to find Fullwither? Didn't matter. Instinct told me what to do, not why to do it. I baited her. I'll never stop hunting you. I'm gonna make you pay. I picked up my front feet and rushed her, then relaxed my body as she laid into me again. It hurt. A lot. But I did one thing right. I didn't pass out. Just made it look that way. My little scheme paid off. As the van screeched to a halt, instead of leaving me there, Roxy picked me up and threw me into the back. Well, Deacon has found himself in a pickle. Or did he make his own pickle? Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you next time. And remember, stay warm.